Namaskar, my dear students. Today in the quick review section, we will discuss indirect retainers in cast partial dentures or removable partial dentures. This topic is very important as you often get a short note in your theory exam. This topic is also important for the designing of the cast partial dentures for the postgraduates. And if we talk about the multiple choice question, number of tricky MCQs are framed from this topic. So let us begin. What are indirect retainers? Let us understand. An imaginary line passes through the distal most occlusal rest of the distal extension RPDs, that is class 1 or 2 cases, around which the anterior-posterior rotation can occur. So some auxiliary rest or clasp can be given far away from this fulcrum line. This prevents the rotation and displacement of the distal extension bases. These are called as the indirect retainers. Now let us read the definition. The component of the removable partial denture that assists the direct retainers in preventing the displacement of the distal extension denture base by functioning through the lever action on the opposite side of the fulcrum line. When the denture base moves away from the tissues in pure rotation around the fulcrum line. Please understand, indirect retainers neither provide primary or secondary retention, but they only assist the direct retainers to prevent the rotation of the denture base. This is one of the multiple choice question which is asked. Functions of indirect retainers. First and the very important function is that it reduces the leverage. Let us understand in this picture, the rod is like a RPD. If there is no direct retainer as shown in the part B, the rod will get lifted up. That is, no direct retainer, no retention, RPD will get dislodged. Now in the part C, we have given the direct retainer. The RPD will not lift, but it will get rotated around the fulcrum line. When we place the indirect retainer as shown in the part D, the rotation is minimized. One more important point, if we see, the far the indirect retainer is placed from the fulcrum, minimal is the rotation. The indirect retainer, they convert the class 1 lever in RPD, which is harmful, to the class 2 lever, which is more favorable. So thus it reduces the lever. It is one of the important MCQ question which is asked. Second function is stabilization. The vertical part, it prevents the horizontal forces and provides the stability. Then comes the support. The horizontal part, that is the rest, it prevents the vertical forces towards the ridge and gives the support. The major connector that act as the indirect retainer, they prevent the lingual movement. Another important function of indirect retainer is that they show first sign to show the need to reline. When the RPD becomes loose, indirect retainer, they leave the rest. See, there is a gap. Okay, this shows that the RPD needs relining. Another MCQ question which is asked. Factors that determine the effectiveness of indirect retainers. First is the principal occlusal rest. The line passing through these rests will only determine the position of the fulcrum line. And this fulcrum line will finally determine the recommended position for the indirect retainers. Okay, then comes the rigidity of the major connector, which is important so that the indirect retainers and all other components can work effectively. Supporting tooth, it should be evaluated for its prognosis before choosing it for placing the indirect retainers. These factors can be included in your short note. Besides, it forms a very important multiple choice question. Forms of the indirect retainers. They can be the auxiliary occlusal rest, canine extension from the occlusal rest, modification areas, and the major connectors. Now the indirect retainers are not individual parts. Any of the following parts of the RPD can act as indirect retainers. Let us see how. First is the auxiliary occlusal rest. Now the rest, that is the part of the main retentive clasp assembly, is called as the primary rest, whereas the auxiliary rest or the helping rest are the additional rest. They are given on the occlusal surface and are called as the auxiliary occlusal rest. They are placed far away from the fulcrum line and the denture base. Thus, they prevent the rotation and act as the indirect retainers. Second are the canine rest. When the first premolars are very near to the fulcrum line and they are not available for the indirect retention, we prepare the lingual rest seat on the canine. Thus, the canine rest, they act as the indirect retainers. We give bilateral canine rest for more effective indirect retention. Third are the canine extension from the occlusal rest. These are the finger extension from the premolar rest to the lingual slope of the adjacent canine, as we can see in the picture. They are mainly used when first premolar is itself the primary abutment and we cannot give the indirect retainer in the much weaker anterior teeth. Okay, now we give these canine extensions bilaterally because it avoids the tipping action as compared to the single cingulum canine rest. Next are the modification areas. Now see, this is a class 2 mod 1 case. The fulcrum line will pass from the distal occlusal rest. So the correct position of the indirect retainer will be away from the fulcrum line. So the occlusal rest given on the mesial abutment or the interior abutment of the tooth bounded area or the modification area will act as an indirect retainer in this case. Last are the major connectors. The lingual plate in the mandibular arch, it acts as an indirect retainer. Technically, they are not indirect retainers as they are given on the unprepared surfaces. If we give terminal rest with them, then they act as indirect retainers, though partially. They also distribute the stress and splint the weak anterior teeth. They are only the option when we don't have the strong teeth for placing the indirect retainers. In the maxillary arch, the rugae cover acts as the indirect retainer. As the rugae area is firm, it is well situated away from the fulcrum line and also gives good support. So the complete palate and the horseshoe shaped design, it can provide the indirect retention. Where to place the indirect retainer? These are a set of rules which will be applied while placing the indirect retainer. The first is that the indirect retainer will always be located at a point perpendicular to the midpoint of the fulcrum line. Second, it will always be placed as far away from the fulcrum line as possible because it will reduce the rotational movements of the denture base. The indirect retainer will not be placed on an inclined or weak abutment. Okay, we will compensate the distance. We can decrease the distance from the fulcrum line, but we will always give on the stronger teeth. Then it will be made up of a rigid material because the flexibility, it loses the efficacy of the indirect retention. Now, where to place the indirect retainers in the clinical cases? We all know that indirect retainers will be placed in the distal extension cases. So let us start with the class 1. In the first case, if you see, the fulcrum line passes from the distal occlusal rest. Now the perpendicular from the fulcrum line will pass from the central incisor. But as it is a weak abutment, so we will give bilateral canine rest in this area. To compensate the distance which is decreased from the fulcrum line. Another case of class 1 with a diagonal fulcrum line, when the unequal edentulous spans are present. So the indirect retainer will be placed perpendicular away from the fulcrum line on the canines. Now, where to place the indirect retainers in class 2? We all know that class 2 is a unilateral edentulous case. The fulcrum line passes from the distal occlusal rest, it will be diagonal. So the occlusal rest on the mesial of the first premolar, in this case, it will be perpendicular and far away from the fulcrum line, it will act as the indirect retainer. Now, in the class 2 with modification spaces, the occlusal rest given on the mesial or the interior abutment of the modification space or the tooth bounded saddle provides the indirect retention. Now, the placement of indirect retainers in class 4 long span cases. In this, the fulcrum line passes from the rest near to the saddle area or the edentulous area. So, the indirect retainers will be placed away from the fulcrum line, that is posteriorly. Two rests bilaterally on the molars will be placed if the fulcrum line is horizontal, or a single rest posteriorly will provide indirect retention if the fulcrum line is diagonal. You can mention them in your short notes on the indirect retainer. You can also use them for the long note on the designing of the RPDs, and number of MCQs are framed from the clinical cases. That's all for today, my dear students. Thanks for watching the video. You can give your topics in the comment section and do not forget to like the video. Wish you success today and always.